things about Safta. I'll keep it kind of brief, but those of you that know me know that I have this big smile and I love to laugh and I crack up at like literally everything. So I know I got that from Safta. She was always cracking me up, like to the point where I would cry and not be able to hold it together. She had this one like Polish tongue twister that she would say, and even at like the age of 10 or 11, I'll be rolling on the ground laughing. And
it's about salted sausage.
Yeah, it's about Peter who's picking a pack of peppers or something. The way she said it, I would always just, it'd be too much for me.
Was it in Yiddish or did she just with her accent?
And Polish.
It was her accent too. It was in Polish.
Russian, right?
Russian, yeah.
So I think that's just such a big part of my life is laughing and smiling and always being really happy, and I think she had a major role in that.
Daniel, you have to enact that.
Yeah, oh no, I couldn't, but Liat did record her doing it, so I have the video for doing it, so if you guys want to hear it and crack up the way that she used to make me crack up. So
that's beautiful, Daniel.
She also had a little bit of a dirty sense of humor too. I remember, I don't know how old I was, whenever Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were first married, and she was talking to my mom about it. She said, "I heard they made sex 7 times." I had no idea how she found out the exact number.
They made sex.
She was so funny and so sweet, and I haven't seen her in 8 years. I really regret it.
I'm sorry, my darling. That's the world. The world hasn't seen each other.
I know, and I know we've all lost loved ones here, but you feel like you're gonna have an opportunity, and you think, "Oh, I'll make it out there. I'll make it," and just go. And I really wish she didn't see my kids. If they would have loved her so much, she would have loved them.
She would have.
And I see a lot of her and them. Hopefully they'll grow to be taller.
They already are.
She was this big?
But I think they got their warmth and their sweetness from her, and their selfless. Well, they're not selfless, but she had a selfless love, and I think. My boys have that. It's from her. I don't think they got it from Tiffany's grandfather, Selig, who's. I don't think he's ever hugged. He's never hugged a person. I love Selig more than anyone.
Sorry, they out there doing.
And they believe me.
Are we doing in-laws now?
No. I love Selig more than anyone, and he passed away a few months ago, and I know that he passed on a lot to them as well. Their love of cars and mechanics, and they used to go and sit in his room and play with the toy cars, and they just loved it. I know they would have loved playing in Safta's with all her tchotchkes and her little weird candies and gefilte fish and things from the old country. I mean, I was thinking a lot about growing up and going to her house, and just had such fond memories, but there was never anything to eat there other than gefilte fish and onion and beet-based soup.
A lot of livers.
It's the true tradition of the Ashkenaz.
But she was and the best gefilte fish. Really, the best.
And she was an amazing baker. Let's not forget that.
And I just had such fond memories of being there, and I didn't realize the importance of it at the time, but all of that stuff, the Yiddish accent and the gefilte fish, and I could smell what the apartment was like. It kind of like in a way connected me to her heritage and where she came from, and how she came here and worked every day to live a modest life, but to make a better life for her son and daughter, that then I could have a better life, and now my kids. And so I felt like it was in the midpoint of that trajectory of getting here, and now we have such a good life because of her and Saba, and they went through so much to get us here. So I admire her. She's such a great woman.
Yeah.
I miss her.
Well done. Well done.
It was lovely.
So, the only thing I can say is that Safta Jane's life is kind of like a paradox. She was witness to some of the worst things that humanity has to offer, and she came out of that and still was able to give this unconditional love that I can't even explain. She loved me, and I loved her, and she loved the kids. And you know, for somebody to have gone through what she went through, and I don't think there are many Holocaust survivors left. I mean, now when you go to the synagogue, there's very few. And
She loved you like you were her second son, for sure.
and I just can't bear the thought that I would see that face, and it's just really hard.
Mine's gonna be a little longer. Sorry, but I'll try to keep it together. I wrote this thinking that I was gonna read it at her funeral, but dear Mom, I can't believe the day has come when I have to say goodbye to you. You lived almost 97 years, which everyone says is a nice long life, but to me it wasn't long enough. I'll miss seeing your beautiful face every day. I looked forward to our daily FaceTimes when I was able to tell you how very much I loved and missed you. It's hard knowing that every day around noon, the time I usually called, you won't be on the other end of the phone. In recent years, I knew when you called me Mamala, something inside of me recognized me. And on the rare occasions when you called me by my first name, this made my day. Although David and I are not physically with you today, you are and always will be in our hearts, and we will think of you every day. We are spending this very difficult time with our loved ones, Mark, Daniel, Tiffany, Eli, and Ethan. I know you wouldn't want it any other way. We are also so lucky to be surrounded by our amazing and loving friends. I love you all. Thank
Love you.
When you moved to Israel almost 17 years ago, you took a piece of my heart with you. I knew we wouldn't be able to spend as much time together as we did when you lived here. As difficult as that was, David and I cherished each and every trip we took to Israel to visit you. We loved all the great times we spent with you. We laughed a lot and enjoyed every minute that we were together. I'm so sorry you never got to meet Eli and Ethan. I know you would have loved and spoiled them as you did your other great-grandchildren. They are so adorable, they're so special, and will always have a part of you in them. I tried to FaceTime with the boys whenever we were in Florida. You always had a big smile on your face when you saw them. Even though you couldn't express yourself verbally, I know your smile told Eli and Ethan how much you loved them. I promise you, Mom, I will never let them forget you. Although you never spoke of it, I know how difficult and horrific your childhood was. Being a Holocaust survivor and seeing a lot of your family perish during the war couldn't have been easy. But I have no doubt that it made you a much stronger person. In stature, you might have been very small, but everyone who knew you were bigger than life. There was no one who was kinder or more generous than you. If you had $1 left, you figured out how to give someone who needed it $2. When it came to your kids, grandkids, or great-grandkids, they wanted for nothing, because you made sure they had everything they needed or wanted. Your motto was, I'd rather give with a hot hand than a cold one, and that you did. Mom, you were the hardest working person I know. You worked tirelessly every day until you retired and moved to Israel at the ripe age of 80. Working all day, every day, never prevented you from having a hot and delicious homemade meal on the table. I never knew how you did it all, and never once complained you were tired. I truly sometimes thought you were Superwoman. Now, speaking of your cooking, there was no one, and I mean no one, who cooked or baked better than you. Unfortunately, I didn't get that gene. Whether it was your homemade gefilte fish, chopped liver, chicken soup, kugels, or your famous sponge cake, you always made them so effortlessly. There wasn't a person I know who didn't love all of your delicious creations. I remember when Mark was probably around 3 years old, he once said to me, Mommy, I think Safta is the best cooker. And you know what? He was right. I knew that when Mark and Daniel came home from your house, they wouldn't eat for about 2 days. You either thought I was starving them or not feeding them enough vegetables, because when they were with you, you fed them like it was their last meal. You were such a wonderful and loving grandmother to Mark and Daniel. Unfortunately, after you moved to Israel, they weren't able to see you as often as they would have liked. But they knew how much you loved them, and I know they loved you just as much. Mom, you were loved by everyone who knew you. I don't know many son-in-laws who called their mother-in-law every day. Each morning on his way to work, David made it a point to check on you. I know you were always waiting by the phone for his daily calls. You loved David unconditionally and always said he was your favorite son-in-law. I continuously had to remind you that he was your one and only son. But you didn't care. You still said he was your favorite. Mom, your personality and sense of humor always drew people toward you. No one ever told a dirty joke like you did. I was amazed not only that you remembered every joke verbatim, but you were never too embarrassed to recite them regardless of who was around you. You certainly had a knack of making people laugh. Unfortunately, the last few days of your life were very difficult. It was so hard to watch you suffer. Although I'm grateful that you're not in pain anymore, I know I will miss you every second, every minute, and every hour of every day. I love you so much and will think of you always, and I'll never forget what a wonderful mother you were. So I say goodbye to you, my beautiful mommy. I know that you're now resting in peace, and after 25 years you are reunited with Dad. Until we meet again, I love you.
Yes.